Hey guys, I'm back and the the ambient occlusion bake is done. It looks pretty good. It's not drastically different than where it was before, um, which is fine. We can definitely edit this kind of stuff out in the texture. And so this is what our texture looks like here. Let's take a look at it. There's one thing, if you, depending on how nitpicky you are, there's one thing that you can always pretty much guarantee is going to happen when you have buried faces like this that aren't connected to the geometry. It's just kind of sunk in there. So that you're going to have this line of aliasing right here. Um, so to fix that, what you need to do is figure out where the face is in your oh, this is what I've been meaning to turn off. Where this face is in your texture. And what you want to understand is that, and this is going to be really easy because we went back and laid this out like this, is that you pull these to the right, you're going to get more of this face in the dark. And so you're going to see, watch when I do it to the right, it's going to actually start pulling that texture in, making it darker. So what we want to do is go the opposite direction. And you just want to get it right in on this and push it in until you don't see that edge anymore. And half of it is going to be on this face, and half of it's going to be on whatever other faces you have here. So probably want to go to UV and UV shell, and that focus never has worked in this mode. So what I want to do is probably just take these and move them sort of, you know, like hand by hand, move them out about that a point like right in here. So we kind of want to move them up and in, a few of them in. Let's go ahead and grab the one. I think these are the ones that we're right here on top of. See if that's right. Yeah, they're right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go back to our texture mode. Let's just zoom in real tight, and then we're going to push these down. So that's gone. That edge is pretty good. I think I'm just going to go ahead and line those up. I think if we push that in, yep, that's good. Got an edge up here. I think this guy still needs to come in a bit. There we go. And we'll push, this is all the way back here. Push this in there. Let me figure out where this UV is right here. This one needs to come in a little more just by itself. There we go. So we got rid of that edge. You can do that wherever else you have this issue. If you have connected geometry, you're not going to have that problem. I think I mentioned that earlier. You're not going to have an issue where the edges are connected. And like I said, we're going to have to go in. Sometimes it takes these, it triangulates. It hits it sort of at a triangle level, and you'll end up with these. You know, this doesn't even exist here in our face. We didn't triangulate that, but it inferred that based on the way. You know, I don't even actually know why it inferred that. I can tell you that these right here. Well, let's see. These should be in a donut, right? Let's turn the texture off. Go to UVs. Yeah, that should have been fine. But I can tell you why these are. This one right here is because it's on this edge right here is, can't even really read that anymore. I don't quite know why that did that. Let's see where this edge is. It's down there. Okay. Well, I think that's about as good as we could have expected. The next thing you want to do is you're going to want to grab this guy. Let's go ahead and save it, and let's delete all the history on it. You're going to want to move this guy out to the side, and you want to keep this guy safe over here. And let's go ahead and I'm going to make a duplicate of it, and I'm going to move it back to the origin, the duplicate. We can go ahead and delete that other guy, the guy that we're using to sort of cast light off of. And now we'll just duplicate this version of it. I'm going to hit Shift-I to isolate. Let's knock those faces. Let's do the face off. And like in the movie Face Off. And then we're going to go back and we've got a nice smooth thing. I still have no idea why that little shading is there. You can probably tell by now it bothers me. Anyway, so we do need a whole model eventually, and this is the time where we can do that. We just need to make sure we always have this guy to go back to if we need to tweak anything. But right now we're actually going to combine these guys. Let's just check our hierarchy, make sure there's no crazy transforms, because I think there's about to be. Yep. Let's go ahead and delete all history, get rid of those new transforms. This is all one object, but we don't have merged verts yet. And so we want to convert our object selection to verts, go to merge verts. Went from 304 to 259, so we accomplished that. It looks like, let's just go into edge mode and let's take a look and make sure we've got smooth edges. We do some places like up this middle piece, but we don't, and that's because we actually had those faces defined, but everywhere else is going to be, we're going to need to address that. Down the back as well. Looks like we have some non-welded verts there. That might be what our problem is. Kind of worried to see how many verts I'm about to select. Okay, just one. But we've got two down here that needed to be connected, and we missed that earlier. So I'm just going to merge those to center. Not going to be a big deal. Other than that, that's all you need to do. So let's just go and start softening these edges. Going to select these as well. Select these, and let's go ahead and soften. Save it. Going to actually delete the history on everything. Looks good. We've got one model to rule them all. Now what we can do is we can just go back to our perspective UV mode. We need to export this for use in Photoshop. So in the UV texture editor window, you can go to UV snapshot. You need to find a pertinent directory. This guy is the projectile guy, so find his textures UVs folder, and then I will just going to go and reference a. Actually, I needed that window, didn't I? Reference the naming convention here. In case I forgot, which I did. So just underscore UV. Go back to projectile bot. Wait, I need some more coffee, I guess. All right, so we'll call this projectile bot camel cased. Let's go ahead and add the extension. Keep it to 1024 or set it to 1024 because that's the same size as our ambient occlusion bake. We're going to keep it at black. Actually, let's just do it white because that's just going to be the background color. The actual, I'll show you in a second. So anyway, you're going to hit OK. Just one more time, I'm going to save. Come back into, open up Photoshop if you haven't already. And we're going to find that guy. Projectile bots UVs. There's another thing we need to find too. You need to go to your wherever your Maya project folder is when you rendered your ambient occlusion, and you need to find the render data, mental ray, light map, and you'll need to find the one that you just made. So this one was made 9:30 this morning, so that must be the newest one. Just double check that. Yeah. So I'm actually gonna go back and I'm going to paste this in here and give this a meaningful name, projectile bot AO. And we've got this opened. We've got, should have just left that black. So go ahead and make the background a layer by double clicking on it. You can just go ahead and flood fill it with white. Select by holding and on the Mac, you can command click on the alpha and it'll select that. Create a new layer in Photoshop. Quickest way to do that is to just hit Command Shift N on Mac. I have no idea why it's red. I seem to do that a lot. I'm just going to reopen this. I have no idea. I'm sure it's something really basic. Make this layer. Going to fill this with black, and I'm going to deselect and fill the background layer with white. So now we have our UVs. Make sure you give each layer a meaningful name. I'm just going to call this backfill for now. And now we need to get our ambient occlusion in here. First, I'm going to go ahead and save this. This is actually going to go in our diffuse folder because this is our texture, or our base texture where we're starting from. And go ahead and save that. And now what we want to do is go over here and place, file, place, find your ambient occlusion, and you're going to place that. And it's make sure it's under the UVs, over the backfill, and you're going to set this to multiply. And so now when you create a new layer, let's just create red, and you paint across here, you'll see that it's honoring the shading that's here. It's getting, it's still got the darkness of the shading. So it's really just like it says, multiply it. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to hop back into Maya real quick. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to use Photoshop to do 3D, painting in 3D. It's not an end-all be-all, but it's pretty nifty, and I'll show you that in the next video. Thanks.